Good afternoon and welcome to Barrow Gurney Television, here coming live from Hobbs Lane for this Division 4 clash between Barrow Gurney First 11 and Winterbourne A11. The news here is that Barrow Gurney have lost the toss, Winterbourne winning and deciding to bat first on a nice warm afternoon with a bit of breeze around to keep the players cool. Few light, wispy, fluffy clouds in the sky. But as all is set fair for a good afternoon's cricket. Barrow Gurney in third place in this division. Winterbourne have struggled this season and they're propping up this division. So an important game though for Barrow Gurney in third place, seeking to make ground on Long Ashton above them. Mark Fisher, as always. I paused deliberately because last week he took a wicket with his first ball. Mark Fisher from the Rod's viewpoint end. Slightly changed Barrow team this week. Mark Fisher again. Nicely played. This is Keith Ford facing up at the striker's end. He's been accompanied by Paul Dagger, who's doing some loosening up exercises at the non-striker's end, practicing his cut shot. Slightly changed Barrow team from last week, the successful team against Bedminster. No run there, Nick Heel quickly onto that. So Ed Holdaway's away, as is Captain Connor Jones and Vice-Captain Jason Cryans. So we've had a bit of difficulty getting a captain this week. Ben Hodges was nominated, the wicket-keeper, but he injured himself whilst on cricket tour. So, well, that's very well taken by stand-in wicket-keeper Mark Brown. So it's back to the future in the sense that the former captain who took Barrow to promotion to Division 4, Frank Forge, with his hands on his hips at mid-off, he's captaining the team today. And back comes Sam Mitchell, who was away last week. Also Toby Connock comes back. And Will Thompson comes into the team at short notice to replace the injured Hodges. So first over, a maiden. Barrow Gurney second 11 don't have a league fixture today. They were due to play Nailsea seconds, but that game was conceded. Nailsea conceded for the second week running. So Barrow 2s will get whatever the maximum points scored in their division turns out to be. And will maintain their place at top of Division 9 West with 4 games to go. So Barrow 2s are playing a friendly up at the QEH ground opposite the Bristol Cricket Ground, and they're playing Bristol Fifths. This is Kieran Owen, and that hit Paul Dagger. He left it, allowed it to hit him. So Kieran Owen, a makeshift opening bowler with the absence of Ed Holdaway and Connor Jones. Very useful seam bowler. Often sort of third change. Opening the bowling today, so an opportunity for him. Barrow's attack is likely to consist of these two, with the possibility of some more seam bowling if needed from Will Thompson and maybe Sam Mitchell, although he sometimes bowls spin these days. Swing and a miss. Otherwise, it's going to be an all-spin attack later on. We've got Frank Forge himself with his off-spin, Nick Heel with his quicker variety of off-spin, and Guy Fisher with his leg spin. The unknown quantity is whether or how much Johnny Sykes might bowl. He certainly bowled a few overs on the cricket tour and looked very quick and very impressive, but he has been carrying a bit of a shoulder injury, so we'll have to see how he pulls up today. So for Kieran Owen, we've got a slip. That's Josh Yelland, standing where Mark Brown normally would stand. We've got a gully, which is Johnny Sykes. Quite a fine-ish gully. We've got a backward point. That's Nick Heel. Will Thompson chewing his fingernails at cover. Short extra. That's Big Sam Mitchell. Oh, and he's nicked off. He's nicked off, and Kieran Owen has struck in his first over, and that's a good catch from Mark Brown, the stand-in keeper. And that's the end of the over, 0 for 1. So the new batsman is Ian Rawlings. And this is a really, really good start from Barrow Gurney. Most unusual thing about that is that it wasn't Mark Fisher who took the first wicket, and he'll be wanting to add to his tally of 31 wickets. He was overtaken last week by Mr. Tabraze of Pack Bristolians, who became the top wicket taker in the whole of the B&D by 1 wicket ahead of Mark, so he'll be wanting to get back into pole position. Here he comes. So some of the Barrow Gurney players are quite tired because they've been away on cricket tour this week, played 3 games in 3 days. Sampling the delights of the new ground at Budley Salterton, and then playing some old friends from the Dales, Seaton Cricket Ground, bedecked by seagulls when we arrived, and then the games concluded at Showbrook Park, our old friends there, and some good fun was had. Oh, that's sliced away. Oh, that's gone for 4. So Winterbourne underway with that square drive from Keith Ford. It was slightly sliced away, but he got the majority of the middle of the bat on that. It was a good shot. Guy did that one. Good stop by Johnny Sykes, diving full length, and that's quite a long way. He's about 6'7". We're joined here at Hobbs Lane by our 2 friends on the June buggies, just doing a few early laps of their field. They do seem to pick out the start time of the match with almost exact precision. Oh, well played, well bowled. Acting Captain Frank Forge there at extra cover. Similar sort of offside field for Mark Fisher to that Kieran Owen had on the leg side, mid-on, mid-wicket. Oh, there's that cut shot. Well, beautifully stopped again by Johnny Sykes. Well, you can certainly see why Johnny Sykes fields in the gully. So saved 2 probably certain boundaries there. 4 for 1 off 3. Well, we hope with so many of our players away on holiday that some of them may have taken the opportunity to tune in and see how their teammates are doing. So if you are, drop me a text and say hello. You can always email me on barrowgurneycricket@gmail.com or send me a tweet. You can send a tweet on @cricketcleric. And we'll try and get you involved in the commentary. Oh, that's edged as well. And I think it dropped short. It dropped short of Josh Yelland at first slip. I think Mark Brown felt that he had to go for it and might have got a glove on it, but it went through very low. But that's prompted a field change. Sam Mitchell's now come out of that short extra cover to go into second slip. And that's well left. So Mark Brown's already taken one good catch behind the stumps, wearing a floppy hat and a bright green wicket-keeping gloves. Oh, he's hit through the line of that, and that's gone for 6. My word. What a good strike. That came totally out of the blue from Ian Rawlings, who'd been looking to defend. And, well, the ball was in his half, and he just went through with the shot and timed it beautifully. Unfortunately, he's hit it directly into the hedge, from which it's sometimes quite difficult to find balls. So there might be a slight hiatus now with people probing around in the hedge. Brand new ball, only 3.5 overs old. We don't want to be losing that one. Right above the CI Connect sign, our sponsors who are sponsoring our MCC game. More of that later in the commentary. Winterbourne players going over to have a look. I think I might be asked to dig into the bag of spares soon, so I think I better have a look and see if I can find a suitable projectile. Oh no, the ball has been found successfully, and Kieran Owen's going to come back to respond to that shot. Good ball. Just hung it out outside off stump, gave him a chance to replay that shot if he wanted. And some early spectators arriving. Well bowled. Kieran Owen. 10 for 1 off 4. So Gordon Ladd, Barrow legend, former captain, former chairman, who was lovely to see on Cricket Tour last week. We were staying in Exmouth and some lovely scenery, and Gordy did a bit of umpiring and thoroughly enjoyed his time on tour, so it's good to see him. He's just been given a wave by Frank there, saying nice to see you. Players, I think, really, particularly those players who've played for Barrow for many, many years, like Frank, they really do appreciate the support of some of the past players who come up every week or whenever they can. So 2 slips now for Mark Fisher as well. Nicely angled, and there's that tall diving form of Johnny Sykes as well. Really, it's like having 3 people in the gully, having Johnny Sykes. His wingspan is so huge that it's very difficult to get the ball past him. Oh, he aimed for the big shot, but he's going to get a single. Will Thompson coming round to retrieve that one. It's going to be the first wide. Oh, that was well bowled. Oh, that's bowled him. Yorked him. Full and straight. And Ian Rawlings played all around that, and sadly was bowled for a magnificent 6, though. What a beautiful shot that was. We shall remember that for some time. So 12 for 2. So the new batsman is Aftab Hamid. Hi, Gordy, you alright? Hamid in a very distinctive maroon cap. He comes in to face Mark Fisher, who now must be the equal highest wicket taker in the Bristol District League, unless Mr. Tabraze has opened his account early. So Fisher to the new batsman. Puts him squarely on the pad. Tell a lie, he's not wearing a maroon helmet at all. He's wearing a maroon cap. Very smart he looks too. So that's 5 gone, 12 for 2. News from around the B&D Division 4 coming up. So, Old Bristolians, the league leaders, they're at Blagdon today. They're 14 for no wicket off 4. Bristol Lions and Chilcompton Sports are playing, but there's no score there recorded. Long Ashton, this is an important game for Barrow Gurney. Long Ashton in second place. They're playing Bristol Sri Lankans at home, i.e. at Long Ashton. So a wide to add to the total there. Sri Lankans are batting. Only 1 over gone there, 4 overs for no wicket. And Uni Staff are at home to Bedminster Threes and are batting 1 for no wicket off the first over. That's guided down to Will Thompson, who's now gone into a second gully position, or a sort of sixth slip. Can't remember a field like this at Barrow Gurney for some time. So next to Mark Brown, he's got plenty of company, plenty of people to talk to now. He's got Josh Yelland, Sam Mitchell at orthodox first and second slip. Then there's a bit of a gap between Johnny Sykes, who's hovering between a sort of a fourth slip and a fine gully, and then Will Thompson's gone in. Actually, it's not Will Thompson, it's Toby Connock. Will Thompson's out at cover. It's Toby Connock, I think. Anyway, Owen to continue. Oh, that's nicked! And that's brilliantly caught. Josh Yelland, who I must admit I've never seen take a catch at slip ever before. I mean, not that he doesn't normally field there, but he caught that absolutely beautifully. That wasn't a thin edge. That came off quite a thickish edge. It was hit quite hard. And, well, what a fantastic catch. 13 for 3. Well, I don't need to ask who the new batter is. The distinctive figure of Claire Moran, who's coming into bat. And it's coming into rather a difficult situation. 13 for 3. We're in the 6th over. Now Johnny Sykes at Gully is having words with one of our spectators who's dog sitting. We've got a few dogs. We always have plenty of dogs up here at Barrow Gurney. That's a wide. So I'm not totally alone in the commentary box, but I'm a bit more alone than normal. I've got Eli with me, just the one collie dog. Juno is here, but he's outside with my producer Josh Hall and Bernie Forge, who's come up to watch. And then we have Scout here as well, who's Johnny Sykes' dog, and that's why he was giving some instructions for dog care, because I think I could hear Scout sort of howling a little bit in the pining, shall we say. Not pining for the fjords like the Norwegian blue parrot, but pining to Johnny to come over and say hi. I'll have to wait till drinks. Kieran Owen continuing. Well, overall, a very successful over there. 14 for 3, so Kieran Owen's got 2 for 8 now. And Winterbourne 14 for 3 off 6. So last week, Boneminster Threes were the visitors here, and but Barrow put in a very good performance in the field, bowling them out for 101. I think it's fair to say that if Frank Forge had won the toss, Barrow Gurney would have batted in these conditions. It's a little more overcast as I speak. The white cloud has thickened up somewhat, but it's not in any way threatening. It's just not quite as bright or as sunny as it might be. But the ground looking a picture, the outfield's beautiful. Quick outfield. And as always, the backdrop is magnificent. And from my viewpoint here, I'm looking out towards Clifton Suspension Bridge over Long Ashton. And very soon, or maybe later this evening even, we might be seeing a few balloons. I think the balloon fiesta is next weekend. But there's often some going up in anticipation of that, practicing. Oh, almost a cork and bowl chance there. Just chipped it up. So we're looking forward to seeing some balloons coming over the ground, if the wind's in the right direction. Well done, Nick Heel. Johnny Sykes again got a hand to that. It was really nowhere near him, but he stretched out a long arm and just managed to slow it down enough for Nick Heel to get quickly round from backward point to prevent any run. That's guided, one bounce, and that's actually gone through Johnny Sykes. And we'll run away for 4. Well, that was uncharacteristic, but it bounced awkwardly as he dived. And almost sort of bounced over his diving figure, but 4 runs, much needed. 18 for 3 off 7. Some changing of umpires here. So Mark Fisher's got 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 10. Interesting to see whether he continues or whether Frank might look to give the spinners an early bowl. Kieran looking very threatening with almost every delivery. Certainly keeping the slip cordon interested. Now, Mark Fisher's now joined them. Oh, that's a nice shot, but not quite timed. Frank Forge stops that. Well driven, but no run there. Guy Fisher's now the lone man in the onside. He's at a sort of mid-wicket position. He's looking like Billy No Mates over there. Everybody else is on the offside. So we've got four slips really now. Gullies have come in a bit. We've got 3 slips, 2 gullies, and a backward point. I've never ever seen a field like that in my many years of watching Barrow Gurney. Not even when a certain Mr. Riley was the opening bowler. 18 for 3 off 8. Mark Fisher to continue. Oh, and another caught behind. Mark Brown really having a great day behind the stumps here. And 18 for 4. Well bowled Mark Fisher, so another wicket to him. So, Winterbourne skipper Paul Waters striding to the crease now. With Son's cap, Son's helmet. And, well, he's got a bit of a rebuilding job to do. And that's not going to be easy against Mark Fisher, who's really been the standout bowler for Barrow Gurney this season. Very accurate. Bowls a good off-stump line, swings the ball away. And he's got plenty of people who are going to be interested in that sort of delivery in the slip cordon. Oh, that's going to be a leg by, I think. So that brings Claire Moran down to face Fisher. Well, it's in the air, but it's beaten everybody. That's gone for a single. She's off the mark. Oh, a big appeal for LBW. No. Mark Fisher uncharacteristically giving the umpire a bit of a stare there, as if pleading for a decision, but he was a long way forward. Oh, almost an involuntary jab at that from Waters. I was speaking to Paul before the game, the Winterbourne skipper, and it's been a very, very difficult season for them. They lost a few players in the last couple of years, and they feel that they're in the wrong division, really, and it's quite demoralising when they've been hit around for some big scores. Ooh, that jumped a little bit. And have been struggling to put any points on the board really this season, so I hope for their sake that the situation resolves itself and they find themselves in a division where they can play some sort of competitive but enjoyable cricket. Similar, but was different, but in a way similar problem. Barrow 2s in their division have been sort of beating all comers apart from Golden Hill 6th in second place, and really probably in two lower divisions, so hopefully they're on the verge of sealing promotion. So Kieran Owen to continue. Well, that didn't really bounce. So we've got Mark Brown Alongside him, also, he's Mark Brown, the keeper. Josh Yelland at first, already taking a good catch. Sam Mitchell at second. Johnny Sykes at third. Mark Fisher and Toby Connock in the slips cordon, reminiscent of the Lillian Thompson fields back in the 74-75 Ashes series. We've also got a shortish extra and a short mid-off. That's Frank Forge who fielded that one. I think they saw Claire Moran pop that shot that she played nicely through the covers, but it was a little aerial, and maybe made them think that there might be a chance that she might just play a little early at one. Oh, here's a nice visitor with Kathy Fisher. I haven't seen her for ages. She's up here. Come to watch the lads. So I'm just giving her a wave. So already missed 2 of Mark's wickets. Oh my goodness me. How did that get through? We got five people in the slips, and somehow that squirted away through all of them and went down to the third man boundary for 4. Well, that's the end of the over. So it's getting quite noisy here. We got a dog howling. I think that's Scout saying that he wants Johnny to come off the field and play with him. So we've got a dog howling. We've got the dune buggies roaring around the field and hooting their horn. So much for a peaceful afternoon's cricket at Hobbs Lane, but no doubt quieten down later on. So 10 overs gone, 24 for 4. Mark Fisher's going to continue. Well, they've certainly found how to use that horn, haven't they? Reminds me of the Dukes of Hazzard. You remember them running around in that car called the General Lee? Probably not allowed to call it after him now. We'd have to write it out. Oh, bottom edge. That's gone for 4. Yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard, anyway, they used to run around in that car and they were honking the horn all the time. It played some sort of tune, I think. I'm not sure that's all that the Dukes of Hazzard was memorable for, but had a chance to flick that off his legs, but missed. Short, tried to cut that away. So that over ends. 11 gone, 28 for 4. Mark Fisher's now got 6 overs, 2 for 15. So whether he'll bowl through. Interestingly, when Frank was captain, permanent captain a few years ago, he did used to bowl Mark through his 8 overs at the beginning of the innings, but Connor Jones tends to use him slightly differently, tends to save 2 or 3 overs for later in the innings. So we'll see. Kieran Owen, he's going to continue from the Buckham Village end. Nicely played, but no run there. So a reminder, this is Barrow Gurney's 150th anniversary season. The club was founded on the 1st of June 1874, and we've been celebrating all through the summer with some great events. And the next is the MCC game, Bank Holiday Monday here, Hobbs Lane, starting at 11 o'clock. A timed game against an MCC 11 that's been named. A couple of county second 11 players in their team, so that's going to be a strong challenge for Barrow. Unfortunately, Ben Figueiredo, we were hoping was going to be the captain of the MCC team, a former Barrow player himself, but he works for Hawkeye and will be otherwise engaged at the US Open and Flushing Meadow, so sadly he won't be part of that. But we hope that many Barrow players, ex-players, supporters, friends will come along and join us for that day. Timed game. So all results possible. Oh, my word, that's gone over. That even went over the Johnny Sykes. And that's almost impossible to get the ball over Johnny Sykes. He is so tall, but that flew over him. He raised a hand, but didn't get a finger on it, and that's gone for 4. So Claire Moran moves on to 9, which makes her comfortably top scorer so far. Oh, that's a good shot as well. A little uppish again, but nicely into the gap. This will be a single. So Kieran Owen now. His 6 overs have cost 17. 2 wickets. So 2 wickets apiece for the openers. Looks like Mark Fisher will continue. Or will he? Frank Forger's got his hat off, but I think he's just applying a bit of sweat to the ball, which you're allowed to do. You're not allowed to apply anything else to it these days. No sandpaper, certainly. So it is going to be Fisher bowling to Claire Moran, and nicely played, no run. So there's a bit of gapping now in the slip cordon. We've got Josh Yelland and Sam Mitchell. They're quite close together at first and second slip. Then Kieran Owen seems to have found his way into a 4th slip position, and Johnny Sykes at a more orthodox gully. So we've got a point, short extra, short mid on, without being completely silly. Short mid off, rather, an orthodox mid on, and a forward square leg. Oh, that's a nice shot. Nicely timed, but that hit Toby Connick there. Oh, that's aerial. Guy Fisher can't get there in time. Just took a moment setting off. Wasn't quite sure how well that ball had been hit, and didn't get to it really. Well, that's the first untidy bit of wicket keeping we've seen from Mark Brown. It seemed to surprise him, and he used his pads to stop that, but no harm done. No byes allowed. 13 overs gone. 33 for 4. News from Paul Mizzen, our fixture secretary, who's texted me to say there are no excuses for any misfields today, guys, because he's never seen the outfield looking better. He did a pitch inspection this morning, so glad you were able to get up here, Miz, and have a look, and that you approve of the state of Hobbs Lane. Certainly the ball runs away nicely, doesn't it? Well, that's one of the things I noticed on tour. We played at Budley Salterton, which is a new ground. I mean, they've spent an awful lot of money on it. Ooh, bottom edge. And it's a lovely setting, and they've done an awful lot of work in those couple of years, because their old ground has been flooded as a wetlands for the local wildlife, which was nice. But it was very rough. The ground was very rough, very bouncy, awkward bounces. Right, that's squirted out. Is that caught? No, I think that's Will Thompson. He got a hand to it, I think, but didn't catch it. It's gone for a single. For a moment, it looked like it was going to clear him easily. Then it didn't, and he sort of backpedaling, got a hand to it, but just pushed it over the bar. So yeah, the ground really is looking a picture, Miz. It's you couldn't want to play cricket at anywhere better than this, really. The pitch is playing well, even though groundsman Pete Holdaway's been away all week on tour. He's still managed to produce a nice strip here. Oh, that's got to be gone straight to Will Thompson. Clemoran didn't time that at all, and that's unfortunate, because she started to play well, and still currently top scorer with 10. So that's 34 for 5. So Kieran Owen takes his third wicket, 3 for 18 now. And the new batsman is Nigel Patterson. He's taking guard. He'll have one more ball to face from Owen. No run there. Oh, we seem to have an extra ball in this over. Maybe a bit of a counting issue with the wicket falling. Maybe a coin not passed from one hand to the other. Oh, that's a loopy shot over extra cover. He's got away with it. There's one. But that is the end of the over, so Patterson gets off the mark with a bit of a lucky sort of swat over extra cover, really. Not a thing of beauty, particularly that one, but I'm sure he's got some nice shots in his locker for later. Right, Mark Fisher's going to bowl out. This is like Back to the Future. It's just like when Frank used to be captain 3 years ago. He used to bowl the openers right through and before turning to spin. Connor Jones tends to like to get the spinners into action a little earlier. When the score's 35 for 5, though, it really you've got all the options, haven't you? It's that can't be considered a criticism because the tactic is working. So Patterson now is going to take on Fisher in his last over. Oh, he went all the way back, and what did that come off, if anything? Nothing. 4 byes, and the first blot on the copybook of stand-in skipper Brown, but he just sort of moved back onto his stumps and watched the ball drift down the leg side. Oh, that was right through, and that looked like a good ball. So around Division 4 then. Old B 71 for 1 at Blagdon off 13. Blagdon got a much needed win last week. Long Ashton, they're hosting Bristol Sri Lankans, who are 49 for 1 off 8. Uni Staff playing Bedminster 3s, 17 for 3 off 10. Well, that's a bit of a ropey start for Uni Staff. Oh, I thought the umpire was going to signal wide there, but from his body language. But that's the end of Mark Fisher's spell. 8 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 15. So really well bowled as always. Hardly put a foot wrong this season. So 2 wickets to his name. So he'll be keeping an eye on Mr. Tabraiz at Pack Bristolians and how he's getting on for this unofficial title as the top wicket taker in the B&D. So skipper Paul Waters now he's going to face Kieran Owens last over. So Mark Fisher's finished, so I'm now looking around to see who's warming up. Nick Heal's rather half-heartedly waving his arms around. So Josh Yelland at first slip certainly is waving his arms around, but I don't think he's going to bowl. I think he'd be fairly low down the pecking order. It's not really his strong suit. A very good batsman, but I don't think I've ever seen him bowl in a competitive match. So Guy Fisher, the leg spinner, he's an option, but he doesn't seem to be warming up. And Frank Forge himself, maybe Johnny Sykes with a bit more pace, depending how fit he is after a week on tour. Whether he had any repercussions of bowling. Bowled 2 or 3 overs of great pace and hostility at Budleigh Salterton. Clouds are beginning to thin out a bit. Really a very pleasant day for playing cricket. Not too hot. There's a nice breeze blowing. Oh, he's flicked that one nicely. 4 runs. Just stood tall, flicked that off his legs. Wasn't worried about hitting it in the air. No fielders out at the moment. Cleared the infield. Beautifully timed. A couple of bounces for 4 down towards the covers. That's the end of Kieran Owen's spell. 8 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 24. Well bowled, Kieran. Standing in for Ed Holdaway, opening the bowling. Did a very, very good job of it too. So it is going to be Nick Heel. Familiar green cap has been given to the umpire. So 2 off spinners putting their heads together to try and sort out a field for Nick. It's going to be an attacking field, that goes without saying given the circumstances of the game. So Josh Yelland is going to stay at first slip. We've got a short extra cover, that's Sam Mitchell, and we've also got a short mid-wicket, which is Will Thompson. That's a full toss, but he got away with it. Loosener. That's better. Oh, Patterson sort of lost his balance as he rocked back to hit that out towards mid-wicket. Oh, up the wicket, and that hit him on the back leg. Worth an inquiry, which it got, but not a huge amount of enthusiasm. We followed that. It was a wide. So that's Nick Heal's first over. Just the wide off it. 45 for 5 off 17. Barrow Gurney's over rate's been quite impressive. We haven't quite finished the first hour of the game, but we've already had 17 overs, so that's good. Getting on with it. It is going to be pace from the Buckham Village end. It's going to be Johnny Sykes. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be quite a tough assignment for the Winterbourne batters, because Johnny does have some extreme pace and bounce, although he can be a little erratic. So Frank giving him some protection. He's got a deep fine leg, which we haven't seen for a while. He's got a man at leg gully, or short square leg, not quite a short leg. Good start. So we've just got the 2 slips and a gully now. Backward point, cover, mid off. No mid on, wide mid wicket. Sam Mitchell at that short square leg, about half the distance between the fielding circles and the stumps. So he is in a catching position there. He's not saving one. Oh my goodness! That's been flipped to Toby Connock, who's taken a very good low catch there. That was excellent, and the captain Paul Waters has been dismissed for 9, and just when he was getting going. So Johnny Sykes strikes early. So 45 for 6 here at Hobbs Lane. So Kyle Embley comes to the crease then to face Johnny Sykes to 45 for 6. Johnny Sykes remarking his run up. Well, that was okay. It wasn't called a no ball, but. Well, it's been very unusual to see the slip cordon as we have today, but they've all caught really well. Because they're not familiar positions. You know, Josh Yellen did well there. That ball could have been rolled onto the helmet behind Mark Brown. That would have been 5 penalty runs if that had happened. Gordon Ladd doing a lap of the ground there in the distance. Well, lunch is obviously over for the youngsters with the dune buggies. They're back on for a second race. So 18 overs gone, 45 for 6. Winterbourne A. Wicket maiden for Johnny Sykes. So here's Nick Heel again. Yeah, there's going to be one there. Maybe more if they get on with it. Look, Mark Fisher's a long way to come round. He's there now. He's throwing in. Oh, it's a good throw. But they make two. Nice little sort of paddle shot that was from Nigel Patterson. I'm not sure he knew too much about that, but there was probably a single there or for a bye, but no run. Well, that's short, but he's got it at the top edge, and he's going to be caught. No, he's dropped. Oh dear, Will Thompson put that one down. He was running in very fast, probably faster than he needed to, and it sort of ran into it rather than caught it. But oh dear, first real blemish in the field for Barrow, and they didn't take a run either while that ball was in the air. See, 2 or 3 Winterbourne spectators have arrived on an expedition to North Somerset. Well, Nick Heel didn't have to wait long to add to the wicket column, having had Patterson dropped earlier in the over. So that's 47 for 7. Are we going to get to drinks, I wonder? So Andy Parsons, the new batsman, will have one ball to face from Nick Heel. Eli's hungry for his tea. He's sat here scratching me, demanding some food, so I've just given him a bit, keep him going. Oh, it looks like members of the Bracey family arriving. Nick Bracey playing in this game. Famous family, cricketing family, of course. .47 for 7 off 19. I seem to remember that Bedminster were 47 for 7 last week, and they managed to get to 101. So, little way to go for Winterbourne to get to even that sort of total. Oh, beat him. So 2 balls to go till drinks. Another change in the field, so we've now got a silly mid off, silly mid on, and a silly square leg, and that's a silly mid off in play. Reminds me of the sort of field we used to have at school. Always used to have a silly mid off and a silly mid on. Don't remember having 2 slips and a gully as well, but I think Frank is enjoying the funky fields. Oh, fired down the leg side. Okay, so that's 20 overs gone. 47 for 7. And here come drinks. So let's all have a drink and be back with you shortly. You're watching Barrow Gurney Television. So welcome back. Welcome back to Barrow Gurney Television, Hobbs Lane. This Division 4 clash between Barrow Gurney First 11, Winterbourne A11, Nick Heel bowling to Andy Parsons. As you'll see on your screen, 47 for 7. Tough day at the office so far for Winterbourne. Got some support here though, from the Bracey family. Famous Winterbourne family, of course. Famous cricketing family. They're here to support Nick, who's keeping wicket, has about to be going to bat soon, potentially. No runs there. Oh, that's flown off the edge. But only one run down to Kieran Owen. Well, that's short. That deserved to get the treatment, but he's hit it straight to Mark Fisher. There's only going to be one. He's on the deep backward square boundary. Well, during the tea interval, I've managed to source a donut. Donuts on sale here today, only 70p, not bad going. Nice jam donut. Is whether I'm going to get a chance to eat it or not. Maybe between overs. 49 for 7. Well, it's still Johnny Sykes at the Buckham Village end. And he's still got this very interesting field. 2 slips a gully, backward point cover, silly mid off, silly mid on, silly mid wicket now. Sam Mitchell's moved more to mid wicket. And that's gone straight to third slip. Toby Connick again. Well, they always practice their slip catching, and I always think it's rather bizarre, seeing you very rarely have more than one slip, and then only for perhaps part of the innings. But today, they're all coming into their own. So that's 49 for 8. Well, this must be Tony Shellard going in, because I know Nick Bracey, and it's not him, so it must be Tony Shellard. Meanwhile, the slips are congratulating themselves over their catching. Well, they've had a very good day. Quite a lot of merriment amongst the Winterbourne team and spectators, which perhaps not warranted by the situation they find their team in, but they're obviously enjoying their day out to Barrow Gurney and the delights of North Somerset, and why not? Oh gosh. Well, that'll bring the 50 up with that wide. 50 up in 21.4 overs, 78 minutes. So far, only Claire Moran has got into double figures. Ooh, moving. Played that from square leg, but he's going to get off the mark with an inside edge. It's another wide. Oh, jumped inside that like a cat on a hot tin roof. Well, Johnny Sykes got that bit of extra pace and quite a frightening prospect for lower order batters, I would imagine. 52 for 8. That's a wide. Oh, that's a good shot. Oh, and he's followed it up with dispatching that full toss. Sudden flurry, really. 2 boundaries and 2 balls. 62 for 8. Well, what did that come off? Josh Yellen dived, got a hand to it, didn't take the catch. If it was a catch, I think it was probably just pad. More spectators arriving. Oh, he's chipped that. Johnny Sykes takes that on the body. That was an awkward bounce in front of him. Oh, that's come off the toe end. That may well run away for 4. Down the hill now, Josh Yellen's retrieved it. Just a single. So a bit of a licorice all sorts over that from Nick. And Winterbourne have progressed to 63 for 8. Four overs, 1 for 16, Nick Heel. Oh, we've got some more Winterbourne spectators arriving. We've got Johnny Sykes' parents and their dog joining us as well. It's filling up here at Hobbs Lane. Right, he's had a right go at that. It's gone right up in the air. Oh, well taken. Mark Fisher was under that. That skewed off the outside edge. It went a long, long way up. And Mark Fisher set himself and took it comfortably. So 63 for 9, and Coming in at number 11, Nick Bracey. Well, been an extraordinary afternoon here at Hobbs Lane. Winterbourne won the toss here. On a nice day for batting, they decided to bat and really have struggled from the word go. Some good opening bowling from Kieran Owen and Mark Fisher. And some great catching from a slip cordon, like of which I'd never seen at Hobbs Lane, often having 3 slips and a gully, 2 gullies at times. Quick thinking there from Mark Brown, but Bracey was back. So Keith Ford, well, he was caught at first slip off Kieran Owen for 5. Paul Dagger, he was caught by the keeper, makeshift keeper, Mark Brown, for a duck. Ian Rawlings played one lovely shot for a straight 6, but before being bowled by a good Yorker from Mark Fisher. Aftab Hamid, he was also caught behind by Mark Brown off Mark Fisher. Claire Moran, having batted really well for 10, still the joint top scorer now. She was caught by Will Thompson. That's going to be a no ball. Paul Waters, well, he played a delightful shot over mid-wicket for 4 before getting caught by Toby Connock at third slip for 9. Nigel Patterson, well, he skied one off Nick Heel and was lucky, and then was bowled 3 balls later. Nick Bracey off the mark with that single. Kyle Embley, he was caught by Toby Connock as well. Oh, Johnny Sykes has fallen over there. Oh, that was a bit of a worry. Is he okay? He's having a look at the footholds as if to say something went wrong there when he landed his front foot. He looks all right. And then Andy Parsons skied one, or skewed one off the top edge, which went really, really high, and Mark Fisher caught it at backward point. And that, so far, completes the tale of woe with just the last pair together. Trying to eke out every run they can get. 66 for 9 off 24. So, Nick Hill to continue. Really, apart from field placings, Frank Ford has had very little to do as stand-in captain today. Not been much rotation of the bowlers, and all have been successful, as indeed is Nicky Hill with that delivery. And, well, that is it. Good night, Vienna, as they say. 67 all out then, Winterbourne. And so is Tony Shallard, who was clean bowled there, leaving Nick Bracey 1 not out. So I'll just run through the bowling figures for Barrow Gurney for you, having gone through the scorecard. Mark Fisher, 8 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 15. Kieran Owen, 8 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 24. Nick Heel, 4.1 overs, 2 maidens. Sorry, 4.1 overs, no maidens, 2 for 16. And Johnny Sykes, 4 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 6. So Barrow Gurney, after a bite of tea, will come out seeking 67 to win. And we'll take a break, as the players also take a break. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes. So you're watching Barrow Gurney Television, coming live from Hobbs Lane. So, welcome back to Hobbs Lane. You're watching Barrow Gurney television as you join us for the reply of Barrow Gurney to Winterbourne's 66 all out. Opening batters are Sam Mitchell, who's just got off the mark with that single through the cover region, and Mark Brown. Andy Parsons, the opening bowler at the Buckham Village end. Well, that's coming straight for me. Oh, goodness me, that just nearly hit the score box. 6 runs. I think Mark Brown might have somewhere to go tonight. He's clearly not going to hang around. That was short, and he got all of that. My goodness me. Oh, there's a young Bracey, a very young Bracey, who was almost in danger there. But fortunately no harm done, except to the scoreboard. Well, he's not timed that, but they're going for a quick single. So, 8 for no wicket. Nice shot from Sam Mitchell, but straight to point. So quite different from the Barrow Gurney fields. We've got no umbrella, 3 slips and 2 gullies affair. We do have a gully. We have a point, a cover, extra cover, mid-off, wide mid-on, mid-wicket, backward square leg, and a deep fine. So Barrow will be looking for maximum points here to edge them closer to Long Ashton. Oh, he's not timed that at all. So Ian Rawlings is the opening bowler at the Rod's viewpoint end. Seems to be a bit of a problem with the stumps at the bowler's end, so Mark Fisher's organised that. Short. So looking round Division 4 then, old Bristolians, they're playing at Blagden, 161 for 4 off 25 they are. I'm not sure what's going on at Bristol Lions and Chilcompton game, because that's not being live scored. Bristol Sri Lankans are batting against Long Ashton at Long Ashton, 106 for 5, so they're struggling now. Uni Staff have recovered a little bit, they were 21 for 3, they're now 86 for 4. No run there against Bedminster 3s, so those are the other games in this division. They're not going to get anywhere near a conclusion by the time this game is over. So you'll have to follow that by watching the play cricket. Meanwhile, no news of the twos. They're playing a friendly up at Bristol Fifths, QEH ground, following a concession by Nailsea 2s against Barrow 2s, so they'll get the maximum number of points scored in that division, Division 9 West, and they'll remain top with 4 games to go. Seems strange the cricket season's about to come to an end, but it won't be long. 4 more weekends, and then we've got a weekend of friendlies, and then the traditional double wicket competition, and then apart from our winter pool league, which will take us through to mid-October, then it'll be shutting up shop for the winter. Seems strange. So under the over, 8 for no wicket off 2, Barrow, needing another 59. For what it's worth, the run rate required is only 1.55 per over, but don't think that's going to be an issue in this game. So Parsons to continue. So keeper Bracey will waving to his grandson there, another scion of the great Bracey dynasty. I was just talking to him between innings actually, and reminding him of the last time he played here. Boot was very clearly on the other foot. Barrow 2's played Winterbourne 4ths here, and they got bowled out for 40, having had 2 lads make 100 against them in the Winterbourne innings. Oh, that's going to be. Oh no, it's going to run away. It's run away for 4. Nicely timed shot from Sam Mitchell. Needing a few runs under his belt, because he's heading towards 1,000 for the season in all cricket. He's at over 800, and well, he's not going to get a chance to add too many to his total here, but it would be a great achievement. Only Guy Fisher has done that in recent years, and that was when we had a Sunday League team, so there was probably more cricket played than there is now. That's been pulled away. That's 4-2. For no wicket. Yeah, so that last visit of Nick Bracey here, that Winterbourne game, was a horrible game to play in. I did play in it. A young chap batted up nearly all the way through the innings, and he got to about 80 off about 30 overs or 32 overs, something like that. Only to find another youngster come in and get to 100 before him. He was hitting the ball to all parts. We had several fielders stationed in the field, I think. And I can't remember what the score was, but they must have made nearly 300. And well, I remember I opened the batting that day. Bowler came in, didn't see the ball, stumps everywhere. Glad to get out of the way, and that was a nice shot for 4. Yeah, just to finish that story, I was glad to leave the field of play, and only to find the blooming umpire called no ball. I had to go through the whole thing again. I think I did get off the mark, but I don't think I made many. But yeah, 40 all out, I think. It's pretty miserable. So completely the opposite of today's game, where Winterbourne were bowled out for 66. Clickety click, 66. Joe Root's number. Right, well, on matters here at Hobbs Lane today, let's say a bit of a back to the future day with Frank Forge captaining, as he used to do for several years. Albeit he's not had a great deal to do. He didn't bowl himself. Don't think he'll get a. So he enjoyed being able to place his fielders pretty much where he liked. Some interesting fields we had too. Oh, that's short. Mark Brown's got most of that's long boundary down there today, only 4. Sometimes when the pitch is on the edge of the square. That's a very short hit down there. That would have gone for 6 on that sort of pitch, but 24 for no wicket. Well, this game's clearly going to finish early. What are you going to do with the rest of your afternoon? Watch the Olympics? Play Sudoku? That's 1. Brown thinking of coming back for 2. Better not. Good throw, a bit high. So Mitchell's going to come down and face Rawlings. Oh, that's popped up. Oh, he was very lucky there. That fell short of extra cover, who is relatively close. Not as close as the Barrow fielders were. It's a better shot. Oh, diving effort. Half stopped the ball, but they're going to get 2. Yes, they are. 2 runs. So end of the over, 27 for no wicket off 4. 40 needed. Well, coming up in the coming week at Hobbs Lane, we've got midweek game against the Kaiser Chiefs from Long Ashton. Dan Kai and his troops. Some former Barrow players due to star in that. Ed Jones, Dan Jones, Oscar Livesey Lodwick, and of course Dan Kai himself, who played a couple of games for us. So Keith Ford, who opened the batting earlier for Winterbourne, he's going to come on and bowl some off spin by the look of it. To Mark Brown. I'm going to get steal a single there. Literally got away with that. 28 for no wicket. Yeah, so it'll be good to see some of those old friends again. Dan Jones, of course, involved in one of the most amusing incidents we've ever had on cricket tour a few years ago. Oh my goodness, that's gone. That's goodbye. And yeah, 6 runs. Yes, the famous incident with Dan Jones was on tour was sadly badly hurt his knee and had to go to hospital fielding in the outfield. And dear old Rod Reeves, who used to run our tours here, much missed by all, declared he'd been bitten by a snake and that he could see the fang marks in poor Dan's leg. It caused much merriment, even to Dan, who was in a lot of pain at the time. But yes, good to see him again. Also famous for batting through an entire junior game, hitting the first ball of the game for 4, and bat the entire 20 overs and finish up 5 not out. Such were the days. Dear old Ed, what a fantastic fielder he was for Barrow, and a very attacking batsman. I don't think he had a defensive shot in his locker. So we're good to see them again. Sam Mitchell's dispatched that one as well, but this time along the floor for 4. So 38 for no wicket already, so well over halfway there. Well, that's a lovely shot, a classical on drive, and that's also 4. Well, that's the end of that first over from Keith Ford. Rather an expensive one, 15 from it. It's going to be Rawlings to continue. So that Kaiser Chiefs game I mentioned, that's Wednesday night. Wednesday the 7th, 6 o'clock start. So it'll be the last evening T20 game this season, the last friendly T20 game too. So everyone very welcome for that. Mark Brown, easy single there. Moves on to 14, 43 without loss. Next weekend coming up at Hobbs Lane, well, all being well, and I say that because they defaulted last week. Patchway 2s will be visitors playing the almost all-conquering Barrow second 11. No run there. So that could be a game that takes Barrow all to the brink of promotion, depending on results today and elsewhere next week. That's well fielded there at backward point. Meanwhile, this first 11, or the first 11, which may be looking a little different next week, they go to the old Fry's ground out at Keynsham to play Bristol Sri Lankans in a game that will be very important, obviously, in terms of an attempt to catch up on Long Ashton. Already one or two players saying they don't really want to play in that game after a very bad-tempered affair here at Barrow, where Sri Lankans were successful, and deservedly so in the here, but some of the antics that went on during that game were best forgotten, but not easily forgotten, unfortunately. Oh, quick single. And that's the end of that over, 44 for no wicket. We're not even going to make it to gin and tonic time. It's said last week that it's quite civilised having a gin and tonic at a sort of 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a nice day, but well, it's still 2 hours away. Well, undeterred by the last over, Keith Ford's going to have another one, and 2 is the cry. And Mark Brown's certainly going to get there. He's the quicker runner. He's running to the danger end. Oh, it's gone for 4. Well, what on earth happened there? The fielder at wide mid-off seemed to sort of trip over the ball and kick it to the boundary, did he? It was looked to all the world there was going to be no more than 2. Oh, and that's gone a long way. That's cleared the ropes. Should be able to find that. That's over in the field. So 54 for no wicket. So only 13 more needed. So everyone was joking about that I was on short hours last week in the commentary box. Well, even shorter this week. So we've got another spare. Oh, that's a nice shot. He's hit that square to the boundary, all the way down to the boundary board. So Sam Mitchell into the 40s. He might just get to a 50. Certainly going to help him towards his target to get to 1,000 runs. And this game could be over quite quickly. So just to summarise then, on a nice sunny day with a bit of a breeze here at Hobbs Lane, Winterbourne, who are propping up the table in Division 4. Gamely won the toss and decided to bat. Unfortunately, that decision wasn't really justified by the batting performance, as Sam Mitchell hits that way out of the ground for 6. That's another one lost. So Sam Mitchell gets to 50 off 27 balls, 7 fours and 3 huge sixes. And one more ball, which, don't lose it, Sam, we're so short of spares here. So having won the toss, Winterbourne struggled against great pace bowling, accurate pace bowling from Kieran Owen and Mark Fisher. They took 3 wickets each. Sometimes, some of the time, Barrow had fields of 3 slips and 2 gullies. And occasionally also short, silly mid-off, silly mid-on, and a silly square leg or short mid-wicket. Right, that's a no ball, and also that's gone for 6, and that is the end of the game. So thank you very much, Winterbourne. It's exactly 2 hours the game lasted. So Winterbourne, 66 all out. So Winterbourne 66 all out, with Mark Fisher taking 2 for 15, Kieran Owen 3 for 24, Nick Hill 2 for 16, and Johnny Sykes 4 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 6. Excellent figures. For Winterbourne, well, only 2 players made double figures. Thank you. Claire Moran made 10 and Andy Parsons made 10, but other than that, there was, apart from an odd good shot or 2, there was little to cheer the Winterbourne team. Barrow bowled well, they fielded very well. All these extra slips that you don't normally see, they all took their catches. And then in reply, going out after a short break, Barrow quickly reached their target, 71 for no wicket, with Sam Mitchell making 56 of those in 28 balls with 7 fours and 4 huge sixes. So that's really the story of the day. You've been watching Barrow Gurney television. My name is Mark Forge. It's been a joy to be with you this afternoon, and also to knock off early once again. Hope to be with you next Saturday when the twos are due to entertain Patchway Twos, and we'll have to go and watch the Olympics. It's too early for a gin and tonic, and we'll let the dogs have a run around and work out what we're going to do with the rest of our weekend. So while we do that, give thanks to my producer Josh Hall, and for all here at Barrow Gurney Cricket Club. Let's hope that next year Winterbourne have a better time of it, and they find a division in which they're a bit more comfortable and they can play a bit more meaningful cricket. But we've enjoyed their company, albeit briefly, and wish them well for the rest of the season. So without further ado, I'll sign off now and go and see if the pasties are ready. You've been watching Barrow Gurney Television.